Morning, Catherine.
Morning, Henrietta.
It's good to see you back in town. How's your mama and Dot?
They're just fine. It's harder for them to get around these days, but they'll make it.
Yeah. Well, you tell them I was asking about them.
I will. Oh, they said if I ran into you, they'd like to be put back on your egg list.
Oh, well, I'll take them some fresh pick first thing in the morning.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Good day, Catherine.
Good day, Henrietta.
Well, my goodness, Miss Catherine, you're a sight for sore eyes. And that boy of yours is growing up so fast.
He sure is.
Back for a visit or here for good?
Just visiting, I'm afraid. Joseph has some family business to tend to.
Well, tell your mama I said hello.
I will.
Who's that lady, Mama?
I have no idea. When I was a little girl, just about your age, I would come on walks through here with my daddy to see your Uncle Jacob.
The one that tells the jokes?
The one that tells the jokes. We would come and rest on one of these benches. I have a lot of memories here. It's even where I met your daddy.
Who's that?
That's Mr. Long. When I was little, I used to pretend he was real. I would walk by and I'd say, "Hello, Mr. Long."
Hello, Mr. Long.
Mr. Long said nothing.
I can't wait, I can't wait, I can't wait.
Katie, we're in the cemetery now, okay? You're going to have to be respectful, okay?
Ooh, right. What's respectful mean?
Shh, not that. Let's just whisper till we get out of the graveyard, okay? I'll tell you what, let me sit down and rest a spell first.
Are you tired, Daddy?
No, not really, but my feet sure are sore. I sure wish your brother lived closer.
You should get one of those carriages that runs on a mother.
A what?
You know, Mama was talking about it. It pulls by a mother, not a horse.
A motor. You mean a motor car. Nah, I can't afford one of those.
Well, Aunt Dot says they're silly anyways, and they won't last. But you could get a horse. I'll feed it.
I can't afford one of those either.
Why not? Mr. Lowry has a horse, and so does Lydia and Dr. Phillips.
Yeah, that's a little different. Dr. Phillips, he's got to have one so he can get to places in a hurry. And, well, your sister Lydia, she married well. I already work 2 jobs, and your mama brings in sewing, barely enough to put food on the table for the family as it is, much less a horse.
What about Dot? Why doesn't she work?
Well, Dot works. She keeps the house and minds you and tends to the garden. That's enough for Dot. She'll never be able to take in outside wages. She don't have the... never mind all that. You'll know and understand soon enough. No use cramming anything in that head of yours that you ain't old enough to reckon yet.
She's not very smart, is she? Like she's still a little girl.
Now, Dot's plenty smart, but, yeah, you're right. It's kind of like she never grew up. You see, when Dot was real little, she got really, really bad sick. And they said it was just kind of like it stopped her mind from growing.
It was typhoid.
Morning. Winifred, Murda, I'm sorry, did you say something?
She said it was typhoid that made Dot the way she is.
I hear tell it got both sisters.
Now, Linnell wasn't even born yet.
But wasn't their mother Karen at the time, though, James?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean
What
that
it means is that Dot and Linnell's mama came in contact with a vile infection that is known in the medical community to reach beyond the barrier between world and womb.
Oh, Winnie, I declare you sounded just like a doctor yourself. I know.
Ladies, I can assure you my wife's faculties are in perfect working order.
That's a matter of opinion, I suppose.
If you're done insulting my family, you can carry on in the direction you were going.
Certainly, James. Such a pretty girl in light of the circumstances. You might just have a chance. Word of advice, though, educate yourself for a change.
Oh, and James,
Yes.
do try to get the church clean before Sunday. The outhouse is dreadfully past due for a scrubbing.
Murda, that was too far, don't you think?
Do you think?
They're mean, Daddy. Don't listen to them.
Katie, there is nothing wrong with your family.
I know.
And your mother was not hurt by the typhoid.
I know. Hey, you know what you should do? Take out the toilet paper in the outhouse and replace it with poison oak leaves.
That would be, but what if Preacher Sam or somebody else gets there before one of them two?
Oh, yeah, well, you'll think of something.
No, we'll pray for them. We'll let the Lord do the rest. That's what the good book says to do.
It says we have to love them too, but we don't have to like them.
No, I suppose we don't. Tell you what, Kate did. Let's get a move on. Jacob's a-waiting.
Who's that, Daddy?
I don't know. The name says Long.
What you doing, Mr. Long?
Mr. Long said nothing.
Don't you want to rest, Daddy?
No, not this time. Dinner will be waiting on the table. You know how Dot gets when we're late to the table. She don't like me making this trip anyway. She says Jacob ought to come see us.
Yeah, she says it's silly.
I bet she does.
I hope we don't see those two again.
Katie did listen. You don't worry about those two. Just forget about them. They're nothing but ignorant gossips.
What's a gossip?
Have a seat for a minute. Let's see. A gossip is somebody that talks about somebody else when the somebody else ain't there to hear them talking. And there's usually not a lick of truth about what they're saying about somebody else neither.
That sounds like a sin.
No, you bet it is. Listen, don't let on to your mama or Dot about running into Winnie or Murda. They just do nothing but get them upset and ruin dinner.
Okay, Daddy. Hello, Mr. Long.
Mr. Long said nothing.
Can't wait much longer if we don't want supper to get cold.
They'll be along. Go ahead and set it out.
Ain't you worried about Katie being so little and being out this late?
Well, what if she were by herself? But James has got to watch on.
Howdy, howdy.
Well, it's about time. We could have eaten supper twice and been to bed since supper was ready. Hope you like it cold.
Hush, Dot. It ain't been that long.
I don't understand why he has to go over there so much. That boy ought to come here once in a while. And now this one's gone to take Katie.
I'm right here, Dot.
You shouldn't be taking Katie on that long of a walk. She's just too little. Linnell, don't you let him take her no more.
Oh, Mama, I love to go.
Don't you worry, Katie did.
Dot, she's James's daughter, too. Even if I wanted to stop him from taking Katie to see Jacob, I couldn't.
Well, I'm wrong again, as usual. Here, Katie. Here's some of them cheese for your biscuit. Well, y'all know how I feel about this whole business. It's
Silly. Why does she have to be like that?
She don't mean to be.
It's just that you mean the world to her is all, and when she can't be with you, she worries. She just wants to protect you.
But I was with Daddy. He can take better care of me than she can.
She doesn't see it that way. Just try to put up with it.
So that means I can go with you from now on, Daddy?
As long as your mama don't mind.
I don't mind if you don't.
Not at all.
Thanks, Mama.
Henrietta Freeman came by a little while ago to bring us some fresh eggs. Said the grocer was cutting back on buying so many, so she had a passel of them left over. Said she was even thinking about starting up a delivery operation.
Yeah, things are getting that way. Folks are pinching pennies and trying to find anything they can do to make a living. You know, I'm getting fewer and fewer cleaning jobs.
Henrietta said she came to the cemetery, looked off in the distance, and there was you and Katie.
Yep.
And Winnie and Murda. What did those two hypocrites want, and why were they anywhere near Katie?
Daddy called them gossips.
Oh, honey, that's way too nice a word for them, but true. What did they want, James?
Daddy said gossip's a sin, Mama. Are Winnie and Murda going to hell?
Oh, honey, I don't know, but it's hard to imagine Jesus or the devil tolerating those mouths. Answer me, James.
I tried, Daddy.
You hush up.
Linnell, it was just nothing but a hay and a buying passing. That's all it was.
Henrietta said it looked like you was having a right cozy conversation. with the witches doing most of the talking.
Witches, they're definitely going to hell.
Now, I wouldn't mind seeing them get dunked a time or two. But now, I didn't want to have to get into it. They just insulted the family, and I'm not getting any details because it'll just do nothing but get you upset, and no good can come out of it.
Katie was there. She'll tell me, won't you?
Now, you leave her be. I made her promise to keep quiet anyhow. Don't put her in that kind of a spot.
Must have been pretty bad.
They were poking fun at me for having to clean out the outhouses of church and all. That's all there is to it. Now, just let it go. We haven't even said the blessing yet.
I want to.
All righty.
Dear Lord, please don't let them lying, gossiping, hypocrite witches to hell. Amen.
You forgot something.
Oh, yeah, and thank you for this food. Amen.
Amen.
There's a neat statue in the graveyard.
Mr. Long?
Oh, do you know him?
Oh, that stone's been in the cemetery for years and years.
Katie talks to him.
Yeah, I say, hello, Mr. Long.
Does he answer back?
Mr. Long says nothing.
I see. Well, y'all put your plates in the basin when you get done. I better go check on Dot.
I love you, Daddy.
I love you too, Katie did.
Gracious, it's hot. Almanac missed it by a long shot. Mr. Lowry says he figures it's going to be this way all the week.
I just washed that. Here, help me with this so I can put out supper.
What we having that smells so good?
Oh, them's the pintos. I've had a bit too much butter this time. Oh, and biscuits, of course. I'll set out some of them cheese for James and Katie.
Is that all?
Yeah, that's all. You want to eat and go through laundry like the Queen of England, you can take in more sewing.
Don't get so riled up. I wasn't complaining. It's just that we'll be one less at the supper table tonight on account of James making music with his friends.
He's spending too much time over there with them boys. It don't look right. The next thing you know, he'll be dragging Katie along on that trip, too.
Don't go saying anything like that to James. I won't have him yelling and screaming. It's nice for him to go make music with his friends. It's all he ever talks about anymore. And with work so hard to come by, it's nice for him to have that. And he should take Katie. She's too sheltered. She needs to see more than just the inside of this house.
Are you crazy? The last thing she needs to be doing is running across town. The only girl in a lion's den of boys.
God closed the mouths of Daniel's lions. And these are grown married men.
I know what they are, and I know they drink.
It's Preacher Sam and 3 of the deacons.
Well,
they play gospel music.
I don't care. It ain't right.
Linnell!
Don't say a word of this to James. I won't have him yelling and screaming at me.
Linnell! Linnell, have you seen my good guitar?
No, why don't you take the other one? I think it's prettier anyhow.
I don't want to take the other one.
Well, I haven't seen the good one.
What's going on? Where's my guitar?
I can't tell you.
Linnell, what happened to my good guitar?
You can't have it. It's not here.
What are you talking about?
Well, your birthday is day after tomorrow, and...
So?
Well, Katie... No, I thought that it would be a good
It
idea.
was me, Daddy. I thought it'd be nice to have it restring for your birthday. Mr. Brown has it over at his shop. Jacob was supposed to pick it up and bring it by. Please don't be mad.
Now what am I gonna... You know I go play every Saturday. What made you think today would be any different?
James, it was for your birthday. We thought it'd be a nice gesture.
Oh, now I've got to take that over. I like that one because it's easier to tune and it sounds better. I got to take the other one. I'm going to sound like an idiot in front of Preacher Sam and the deacon. They're going to laugh me out of the barn.
I'm sorry, Daddy. I won't touch them again.
Then darn right you won't be touching them again because from now on I'm going to lock them up. Oh, happy birthday to me.
That's enough, James.
I'll get the door. Stinks in here anyhow.
It's a good thing she didn't have anything to do with this. I'm about sick of her mouth
Oh,
as it is.
button it. Now you listen to me. First thing you're going to do is apologize to Katie. If you only knew how excited she was that she thought of something that we both thought would be special for your birthday, you would have thought twice before you acted like such an ass. And the second thing you're going to do is tell Preacher Sam and the deacons how you acted just as soon as you get there today. And you better do it because I'm going to ask first thing at church tomorrow.
Oh, Linnell.
I ain't done. You don't have to tell me how bad things have gotten. I know all about it. So you can take your high and mighty and you know where you can put it. You're not hurting any more than the rest of us, James. And I'm tired of your screaming and your temper that goes off every second someone breathes the wrong way.
Linnell, it was Dr. Phillips. Mr. Lowry's oldest daughter's having a baby and the midwife's sick. They need our help.
Is there anything I can do?
Hardly.
Go make the music, but take Katie with you.
Oh, Linnell.
She's going with you.
All right. Haven't said too much today. You know, I heard you singing under your breath back there. It sounded really good. A whole lot better than I sound. Maybe I can have a talk with Mr. Long. How you doing, Mr. Long? No? You too, huh? Well, maybe the two of y'all can have a talk, Katie did. Go ahead, Katie. Give it a try. Mr. Long said nothing. Suppose I'm going to have to do. Just come on over here and sit with you, please. I'm really sorry about today.
It's okay.
No, it ain't okay. Your mama really raked me over the coals after you left crying. It didn't feel good at all, but she was right about everything she said. You did a really thoughtful thing for me, and I thanked you by pitching a fit. I'd take all those things back if I could, but I should never have hurt you like that. I've done said all that, and I suppose you're old enough now that you'll always remember no matter how many times I say I'm sorry. You know, once something's said, it can't be unsaid. All you can do is ask for forgiveness and hope to God you get it. So I'm asking Katie, do you forgive me?
I forgive you. And I know you didn't mean to yell. You love your guitars.
Yeah, I love them, but I love you a whole lot more. And you know what else? I realized something today.
What?
I realized that this old guitar, it sounds as good, if not better, than that other one I got. You know, I think I was just trying to impress Preacher Sam and the deacons by taking the one that costs more.
That's silly.
I got to get you out of the house more often. You're starting to sound like your Aunt Dot. You know what I want to do? I want to hear you sing a little bit of that song that you were humming back under your breath the other day. You want to try it? All right, let's give it a try.
That's a neat airplane. Does it fly?
When it's not so breezy.
Can I see it? I promise not to break it. I've always wanted to know how to make one of these, but I never knew anybody who could teach me.
It's not hard. Lay it here, I'll unfold it and show you how to make one.
My name's Katie. That's my daddy James over there. Everybody calls me Katie, but I don't like it. I like Catherine.
Then I'll call you Catherine. My family is over the hill visiting my great-grandfather's grave. Who are you visiting?
Oh, no one. My dad makes music with some men from our church, and we cut through the cemetery on the way home.
I come every Saturday, but I've never seen you here before.
That's because Daddy doesn't usually bring me. But he had to today on account my mom and my Aunt Dot were helping birth the neighbor's cow.
Kate, there's no way to talk about Mr. Lowry's daughter.
You haven't seen Mr. Lowry's daughter. But if you're here every Saturday, I bet Daddy would let me come with him. That is if you want somebody to play with.
I'd love that. It gets boring here after a while. Look here, I'll unfold it and show you how to make one.
Bill, you see there is a fine line between worship and irreverence. Now, I see the point you're trying to make, and I will look into it. I just don't see the more vocal members of the church seeing you eye to eye on some of these new songs.
One man's worship's another man's sin. Is that what you're saying to me, preacher? Well, I don't agree. I think the good book says what it says, and that's that. And it says we ought to make a joyful noise. I just can't find no fault in picking up the tempo a little bit. Imagine old Farmer Conroy, if he got so filled with the Spirit, he broke a smile. He might even tap a toe.
You see, that's just it, though. That's just the thought of it. Toe tapping going on in my church? You know what that leads to, Bill? Dancing.
It ain't your church, preacher. It's the Lord's. And who cares about dancing anyway? Hey, King David danced himself naked.
Oh, you just a rabble-rouser, Bill. That's what you are. That's why you never chosen to be a deacon.
I wouldn't want to cast my lot with none of you anyhow. I've been around you on a Saturday night, Denny. You got to strike a match to your breath and burn off the firewater on Sunday morning before you can give announcements.
Just joking, preacher.
Just think about it, preacher. And when you say the more vocal members of the church, we all know who you're talking about. Winifred Phillips and Murda Freely don't run that church. You're the man God put in charge.
That is so true, Bill. But a church needs certain contributions to remain afloat on today's stormy economic seas. Ain't that true, Sam?
Unfortunately, it is.
And I think that it's only right that the people or a person responsible for those contributions should have some say in how their investments are used. We're to be good stewards. Isn't that also true, preacher?
We are.
Well, I got to get home. I got something brewing I got to keep an eye on. Figure of speech, of course.
I got to get along, too.
Of course. See y'all on Saturday.
That you will. Winnie, Murda.
I don't like that Denny preacher, Sam. I never voted for him to be on the deacon board in the first place.
Shame there has to be a vote at all. I've always thought that the deacon appointment ought to be the pastor's decision.
It's always been by a majority's vote. It's in the bylaws. I can't change that fact, and neither can our contributors. Now, ladies, I am really pressed for time unless there is some way I can be of service.
Just a moment more, preacher. We have some concerns to discuss with you.
About the Landers.
I'll have no ears for gossip.
It's hardly gossip.
Then you wouldn't mind holding your thoughts until James can be present to hear your concerns. God's rule, not mine.
Well, very well, Sam. I mean, it is your church after all. You run it any way you like.
I was reminded just a second ago that it's not my church, but the Lord's. And I will lead according to his disciplines.
Very well, then. We'll see you Sunday morning. But you keep an eye on that Landers girl. She's almost a woman now, and that boy she's been bringing knows it, too.
Sitting awful close in the pew.
Most of the ladies I knew were getting married by her age. And I certainly wouldn't be getting so cozy without a ring.
And so public.
Indeed.
Ladies, I really must go.
Oh, bless your heart, Reverend. You've got so many sheep to shepherd in such a small field. Why, it's no surprise so many of your flock wander astray.
Like your deacon, Denny.
Oh, yes, preacher. He smells like a still.
Lord, grant me the patience not to put a boot up there.
But, preacher. Them ladies gone.
Yeah, I hope so at least.
What they have to say bad about somebody?
I don't know, Denny. They're harping about Katie Lander setting a bad example with her fella.
Are we going to say something to James?
I don't know. It's obvious they want me to. I guess I ain't got much of a choice. You know how Winifred gets tight in the pockets when she don't get her way.
I don't envy you one bit, preacher.
Denny, do something about your breath. The whole town can smell it.
Oh, I just siphoned some gas for Dr. Phillips.
See you on Sunday, and try not to do much more siphoning.
Good morning, ladies. Good to see you this morning.
Well, where else would it be on a Sunday morning? It's the Lord's Day, Denny.
Oh, I know you'd be here. It's just that Bonnie's sick and can't sing, and without Bonnie, we're stuck. She's the anchor in the men's quartet.
Well, can't you get somebody else to fill in for her?
All due respect, Miss Dot, there's nobody in this church can sing bass like Bonnie. That's where you come in.
Denny, you know neither of us sing.
No, not about you. It's James and Katie. They sing a beautiful duet of picking up the pieces on Saturday nights when we get together to play. Reckon they come and do it in place of the quartet this morning?
Oh, you'll have to ask them.
Thank you, ladies. James and Katie Landers, good to see you this morning.
Good to be seen, Denny. How you doing?
I'm well. Reckon I'd beg a favor out of you. Preacher Sam wanted me to ask.
What you need a favor for?
Well, the quartet can't sing the special this morning, count Bonnie's sick. She tried to sing about an hour ago, and she confused the frogs in the back pond back here. And they thought it was mating season all of a sudden. It just made the awfulest racket. A body ain't got no reason to be singing that low. So Doc Phillips sent her home, and Preacher Sam wanted me to ask you if y'all two might sing one of those duets y'all sing so beautiful on Saturday night. We got a guitar you can play.
I don't know, Denny. Them songs ain't meant for church.
Oh, sure they are. We're thinking about the duet of picking up the pieces y'all sing so beautiful. You reckon you'd sing that in place of the quartet this morning?
I don't know, Denny.
Let's do it, Daddy. It'll be fun.
All right, but Denny, we can't make this a habit. You know, some folks here ain't gonna like this too much.
Oh, you let the preacher handle that. We got a guitar over there. You get it tuned up. Church is fixing to start. And, man, I owe you one. I owe you one.
You owe me a lot more than one, Denny. Well, Bonnie plays piano, too, so I guess it's either us or no music at all. I'll go tune that guitar. You find your mom and have a seat.
Me and Daddy are singing a song instead of the quartet today. He's tuning the guitar now. There's Joseph. I'll go invite him to sit with you.
I wanted to talk to you about that. Some of the ladies have noticed how cozy you and Joseph have been sitting during the service. So they figured it ain't exactly proper y'all not being married and all.
We're not doing anything wrong, just listening to the preacher.
I know, but I don't want to do anything that would get the gossip wheel a-turning.
Mama, he's coming in the church in the first place because I invited him. He at least ought to be able to sit with the family.
I suppose so. But your daddy's going to have to sit in between you. You understand? A couple of ladies are right up in arms over this.
Yes, ma'am.
I am so pleased to see y'all here this morning. We are a truly privileged nation, being able to meet inside the house of the Lord and worship Him through message and in song.
Amen.
We're going to be doing things just a little bit differently this morning. We're going to have the announcements at the end of the service. That way, Doc Phillips might have time to get back with us on Bonnie's condition. She's fallen ill, I'm afraid, and we will not be blessed with her beautiful voice this morning.
Sorry, preacher.
We will be blessed, however, by a duet by James and Katie Landers.
All at once my world just fell to pieces, and it seemed like everywhere I turned, the answers never came, so I learned to hide. But I recalled a lesson Daddy taught me. When you fall and break apart, you know it's God who takes the heart and makes it right. Daddy, I'm picking up the pieces of the brokenness that used to be my life. Remember you taught me about salvation, how my Savior gave Himself as sacrifice. And remember how you told me I can always count on Him to hold me tight. Daddy, I'm picking up the pieces. I'm picking up the pieces of my life.
Sam, might be time for you to start your preaching.
Thank you, James. Katie? Today's word comes from the book of Romans, chapter 6, verse 4. And the word says, Therefore, we have been buried with him through...
Is there a problem?
Sam, you do well to get some control over this congregation. People are beginning to wonder if you're running a church or a saloon.
Why, Winnie,
James, just let them go. Rein in your temper and you let them leave. No, on second thought, a more fitting biblical verse today comes from 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 34. Women shall remain silent upon the congregation, yet still be submissive, as is the law.
Amen.
Now, granted, this is taken out of context.
James, where are you going?
I'm going to beat Sam back to his house. I want to know what he's going to do about those two. I don't even know what to call them, but Lord, I know what I'd like to call them.
James Landers.
James, you know Sam can't do anything about Winnie and Myrna. Even if he did talk to him, he'd be backed against the wall. Winnie's the only money support that the church gets, except for what little tithing comes in now and then. Just take a deep breath.
How else am I supposed to react? That was embarrassing, Linnell, for me and for Katie both. Those two nags just treat our family like we're not even worth spitting at. And I've had enough of it. I'm not going to put up with it anymore.
Well, I've heard that preacher Sam is going to visit Bonnie anyhow. He ain't going to be home till after evening service.
I got to walk this off one way or another. I might not can catch up with Sam, but I got to find a way to put an end to this business. No more. It was only a song after all.
Wasn't just a song.
What are you talking about?
Let Katie walk with you. I believe she can explain it.
Come on, then. You two be careful walking home.
What about dinner?
We'll be home directly. Dot. You've been quiet long enough. What's all this your mom and dad are talking about not just being that song?
It's silly, and I just forgot about promising Mama. When Winnie and Marta got up during church and you stopped, well, it was humiliating. And then when we went to sit back down, I just forgot about promising Mama.
Promising Mama what?
Well, before I went to invite Joseph to sit with us, just like I always have.
Yeah.
Well, Mama said some people of the church didn't like us sitting so close, us not being married and all. I guess we all now know that Winnie and Murder were the ones that barked the loudest. She said when we went to sit down, I was to let you sit in between us. Like I said, it's silly, and I just forgot.
Oh, Katie.
I'm sorry.
But your mama was real clear with you. Those chatterboxes were just watching. Just sitting back waiting for us to do something that they didn't like.
I suppose so.
Oh, and then we went and sang that song that I knew wouldn't figure right in church, so we were already branded with the scarlet letter. And then you had to go and do that.
I'm sorry, Daddy. I wasn't thinking.
Oh, you were thinking, all right. You were doing nothing but thinking about that boy.
His name is Joseph, and he hasn't done anything wrong.
What he's done is he's made you all fuzzy-headed. Oh, I understand. Young, I've been around. You're young and you're foolish and you think he hung the moon.
But he isn't to blame for anything that happened today. You ought to be angry at Winnie and Murda, not me or Joseph. What's the problem with us sitting beside each other in church anyway? See, you can't even think of a reason.
It just seems like everything we do gets scrutinized by everybody else. You don't have to hear it like I do, Katie did. Every job I go to, someone's always asking, how are things at home? How you handling it?
We're poor, Daddy. They just want to see that we're taken care of.
No, it ain't that, Katie did. It's not what they say, it's how they say it. Oh, they can mask it all over so it sounds all sweet and all, but all they're doing is angling for a toothful of gossip or trying to find some other reason to make themselves better than the Landers family. I hear them talking. That poor old James having to see after them 3 women. Linnell don't know her place. Dot's peculiar, and Katie's a little different than the other girls. No, it ain't kindness, and it dang sure ain't concern.
What do they mean, different from the other girls?
They're talking about how you go with me and play music with the men and all instead of staying home and keeping house with your mom and dad. And you don't do much cooking and cleaning. You don't get all gussied up to go to church, or you don't go out as often as the other girls do.
That's not fair. You yourself said we don't have money for me to gussy up. And you know I don't cook or clean. I've tried. But Dot accuses me of thinking I'm too good for her. If I'm not like the other girls, it's your fault. Yours, Mama's, and Dot's, but not mine. Do you not like me the way I am, Daddy? Are those things a problem for you, too?
Oh, of course I like who you are. I love you.
But...
Well, it would be nice for you to grow up just a little bit. You know, just take on a little bit more responsibility.
All right, then. Tomorrow I'm going to ask Joseph to marry me.
What?
You heard me. I'm going to propose to Joseph. You want me to do some growing up? That's what you're going to get.
Just hush that foolishness now.
After all, most girls my age are starting their own families, or at least thinking about it. Those biddies want different. I'll give them different.
That's enough of that now. Let's get on home before Dot has a...
I'm not joking.
She's getting kind of mouthy, Mr. Long. You need to tell her that it ain't proper for a young lady to be talking to the daddy the other way. Go on, tell her.
It's a stupid statue, Daddy. From now on, I'll be the adult everybody expects me to be. Me and Joseph will get out of this town. We've talked about it already.
Enough. All right, now we'll finish this conversation after dinner.
No, I'm going to Joseph's.
No, you're coming home with me now, and that's the end of it.
Times are changing, Daddy.
What you need is time away from that boy.
His name is Joseph, and get used to saying it, because we are going to be married.
You got to have my blessing for that, and I ain't giving it. Now, you can lag behind if you want to, but you better turn up directly behind me.
But, Daddy!
No! You're not to see that boy again until I say so, and he ain't to come over and see you neither. You know, you're not too big to be taken behind the shed.
I hate you!
You don't mean that. Just come on along.
I hate you.
Don't wait too long. Come home soon, right?
Grow up. Grow up. Be responsible. It's not like I have any opportunity to show my age. You know who else needs to grow up? Everybody else. Being responsible isn't about just cooking meals or hanging clothes or minding your manners. It's about doing nice for someone and not expecting anything in return, and inviting your fellow to church. Seems to me that kind of behavior ought to be appreciated at least. But no, Katie, you must grow up to be like all the rest of us. Get close enough to this elderly person so you can talk about them when their backs are turned to you. But why am I complaining? I have a roof over my head and a family that has everything all figured out for me. All I have to do is be the person they tell me to be, and my world will continue to turn. Well, I hope you're ready for the world to come to a sudden stop, Mr. Long, because I refuse. From now on, it's my way. I sit here till I'm good and ready to go home, because when I get there, I've got something to say. That's right, my world is about to change.
Oh, we had a fight.
Oh, where is she?
She'll be along. She didn't want to walk with me. Linnell, I don't feel right.
You left her alone. James, you needn't have done that.
I can't.
Oh, yes, you can. Oh, yes, you most certainly can.
No, I can't breathe.
James? James! Oh, God, get Mr. Lowry to call on the doctor.
What's happening?
Don't just stand there. Get help.
I don't know what to do.
Get Mr. Lowry.
What's wrong? I heard screaming.
Oh, God, Mr. Lowry, get Dr. Phillips. James won't come too.
What can I do, Linnell? What can I do?
I don't know. He won't come. Wake up. James! James! Oh, God.
Beautiful service, Sam. James would have been mighty proud to see how many turned out.
And such a wonderful prayer, too. Why, the very angels were playing on your tongue, preacher.
Well, I don't know about all that, but thank you just the same. No, I sure am going to miss old James.
Oh, us too. You know, nobody could quite pick a guitar like him. And how handy he was.
Oh, my goodness, yes. You know, James Landers once came out to the house to work on the crank on the well. He refused to take a single penny from us.
Well, that was James. I know, playing music on Saturday ain't going to be quite the same without him.
Preacher, James be mighty surprised at the folks that came out and paid their respects for him today.
How's that?
Well, you know, James thought that people didn't like him all that much.
He might have mentioned that to me a time or two.
He can look down today with a smile on his face and know that he'll be sorely missed, and he was well loved.
That he was. Yonder comes the widow. Got to see if there's anything I can do.
Express my deepest, will you, preacher?
Will do. Miss Linnell, is there anything at all I can do for you?
Oh, you've gone above and beyond, Pastor Sam. And you got a church to run. We'll be all right.
Can I have some of the ladies bring you supper?
Oh, gracious, no. We've been blessed with so much food already, we'll never be able to eat it all. Mr. Lowry's hogs might make out all right, though. And Lydia's right. You've done too much already. Go home, get yourself some rest. You can't be taking this awfully well yourself.
No, to be honest, I'm not. James was a good friend. He was a real good friend. But honestly, Miss Linnell, it lifts my spirits to see you doing so well in a time like this. It shows great strength.
Well, it's what James would have wanted. James loved to laugh.
If there's anything at all, please do not hesitate to call on me.
We will.
Thank you, preacher. Thank you, Pastor Sam.
Where's Katie?
She wanted some more time at the graveside.
Oh, my. I better go back and get her.
You'll do no such a thing. You leave her be. She needs to work through this on her own.
You sure?
Dot, will you take Mama home? I'm sure she needs a rest. I'll stay here and I'll wait for Katie. Hi, Doctor. Thank you for coming. Yeah, I know he loved you so much. Thank you. Hi, Bill. Thank you for coming. This gives me the creeps. There you are. I thought Joseph'd be with you.
I sent him home.
How are you feeling?
It's been a hard day.
Yeah. I promise it gets easier.
Will it?
Of course it will.
How are you handling this so well?
Well, to be honest, I'm not. There have been plenty of tears, and there will be plenty more. But I have to be strong for you and Mama right now. We have to be strong for each other.
But this is different for me.
I might never get over this.
Why do you say that?
Because the last thing I ever said to him was,
I know, honey. Now you just go ahead and you cry all you need to. I'm right here.
I'm okay.
Why don't we go on home?
Just a few more moments here. You know, this place was special for me and Daddy.
Yeah, I reckon. That statue thing, right?
Yeah. I'll be right behind you.
All right. Well, it'll be getting dark soon.
Tell my mom I'm on my way.
Okay, I will.
Hello, Mr. Long.
Hello.
Whoa, a little at a time.
I'm so thirsty.
There's no need to go fast. That's typical after a fainting spell. Open up, stick this under your tongue, and leave it there until I take it out.
I hate those.
Well, I could have told you to bend over.
Doctor!
Now open up.
Doctor, I hope you'll stay and have a bite with us.
No, I couldn't.
But, Doctor, there's no way we can eat all the food that's been brought over.
I just made a fresh batch of biscuits. Katie likes some with pinos and them cheese.
Well, I'm sure it's delicious, but what I meant to say was is that I really couldn't. I got a lot of home checkups, and I'm already way behind.
Well, that's a shame.
Yes, ma'am. But now getting some food into Katie's the right thing to do. Her temperature's fine. I don't expect there's anything to worry about.
Well, then why did she faint?
Well, I'm sure it's been a lot to take in, Mama.
She's right. I think the stress over the last couple of days has been the culprit. She just took in more than she could handle and had a little spell. She should have never been left there alone. It's a good thing you decided to turn around, Lydia.
Doctor, are you sure you cannot stay for a bite to eat?
No thanks. But now make sure Katie eats. Small bites, little sips. It'd be real easy to upset your stomach.
Here, Katie. Here's some of them cheese for your biscuit.
For the last time, it's not them cheese.
Katie. Well, excuse me. Those cheese.
I'm off. Do you folks have a thermometer of your own?
We do.
Good. Check her temperature every 3 hours for fever.
Even when she goes to sleep?
Especially overnight. That's the worst time for fever to set in. I don't think that's going to happen, though. If there's no change after 24 hours, you can stop. Plenty of rest, plenty of liquids. That's the prescription. You're going to be just fine.
Wait, has anyone told Joseph? I don't want him to worry.
Ah, yes. I knew I'd forgotten something. I met him on the way over here. He had already heard from someone or other, but I sent him back home because I didn't want him to be in the way. I told him if he hadn't heard from me, that means you're all right, and then he can come over tomorrow after sunrise, provided that's all right with you, of course.
Oh, that's fine.
All right. He'll be by in the morning then. You folks sleep well and pamper Katie a lot.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Doctor.
Doctor. Well, is there anything more I can do to be of help? I've got nothing but time.
No, Miss Lowry, you've done more than enough already. Thank you, though.
Oh, proud to be of service. Now, I'm just right next door if you need me. Well, good night.
I'll see you to the door.
Well, Mama, I need to get going, too. Catherine, I am so sorry that I left you out there alone. If I'd have known the shape you were in, I would have stayed right beside you.
I made you go.
Do you remember in anything before you passed out? What happened?
No, I think the doctor's right. I think it's just stress.
Well, we're going to pamper you just like Dr. Phillips said. I'm going to make you an orange cake like I made at Christmas.
I'm not really hungry.
Well, I'll let the two of you iron that out. Mama, you'll send word, won't you?
Yes, I will. You be careful now.
I will. Bye, Katie.
When I was younger, your daddy used to brush my hair every evening. He said it always looked beautiful the morning after a brushing. He brushed it for the longest time after that.
Well, why'd he stop?
Well, I cut off my hair. It just got too much to handle, and I never grew it out long again.
You should have. I bet it was gorgeous.
Oh, it was. Dr. Phillips said I had the prettiest head of hair God ever gave any of his angels. Now, not the Dr. Phillips that was here just now, mind you, but his daddy.
Well, you're still beautiful, you know. I always thought so.
It's nice to hear that from you. James always said when you were old enough to have long hair, he was going to brush yours.
I wish he would have. I would have loved it.
Probably never did because Dot riled him so about brushing mine. That's why he always did it behind closed doors. She said for a man to brush a woman's hair was
silly.
Yep.
I do remember a dream I had once. I always thought it was just a dream, but when I woke up, I was alone.
Can you tell me about it?
Well, I was asleep in my room, and the window was open because it was summer and I could hear the cicadas chirping outside. Oh, I love that sound. But I felt something move on my bed like someone was there with me. I was frightened, so I kept my eyes closed, just hoping that they would go away. But then I was being moved, like gently lifted. But as I settled back down, there was a body between me and the bed. I whimpered and he shushed me. Then he began to hum a song just loud enough to be heard of the cicadas. And then the most wonderful feeling of 100 tiny fingers just caressing my scalp, running through my hair. I suddenly felt safe and peaceful. I always thought it was just a dream, but could it have been?
Picking up the pieces. The song you and your daddy sang the day he... That was no dream, honey. That was your daddy.
Mama, will you keep brushing my hair just until I marry?
Well, I'll have to take a break sometime.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, I know. I just figured you thought about coaxing young Joseph into picking up where I leave off.
I don't know. Whoever I marry, I suppose.
Oh, come on now. Everybody knows it's going to be Joseph. I'm just thankful he ain't asked you yet. I suppose the blessing will have to come from me now.
Mama, Daddy didn't mention Joseph to you before he...
No, it happened just as soon as he got home. I thought I told you that.
You probably did. I don't remember a lot of the last couple of days.
And what about Joseph?
I don't know, these have been especially hard on you too, Mama. So let me help you clean up here.
You leave those till tomorrow. What about Joseph?
Daddy said he wanted me to stop singing for a while. And we argued. I just didn't want to upset you.
Don't you worry about that. James was always arguing.
I don't have to stop singing, do I?
No, honey. I like him, and I think he's good for you. Your daddy and I didn't see eye to eye on that. Now you going up to bed, and I'll come in and check on you a little bit.
Okay. Mama, you don't think our fight had anything to do with Daddy's attack, do you?
No, honey. It was just your daddy's time, that's all. We don't get to choose. God does. Can I ask you something real quickly?
Sure.
When Lydia was bringing you to, she thought she heard you mutter something before you knew what you were talking about. Do you remember what it was?
No.
She thought she heard you say, he spoke. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just still a little dizzy.
Well, let me help you to bed.
No, I'm fine. If I need your help, I'll call.
I'll be in to check on you in a little bit.
right. If you're like me, you're so worried about Katie that you hadn't eaten much.
No, ma'am, I haven't.
She's not in the house.
What?
She wasn't in the yard either.
Where did she go?
Oh, I think I know.
Joseph, bring her home.
Yes, ma'am. Catherine. Thank God I was right. Everybody's worried.
I figured I'd be back before anyone noticed I was gone.
Well, they noticed. Dot had already poured fresh flour in the biscuit bowl by the time I left the kitchen.
It's her way of coping with stress.
I bet there've been a lot of biscuits lately.
Want one?
No, I want you to come home. Why do you keep coming to this place?
It's special.
It just seems like something bad always happens here. It's where you fought with James, and it's where you fell.
But it's also where the two of us met. That wasn't a bad thing. And there's something else. No, it's silly.
What is it?
Well, yesterday when I fainted, I thought I saw something.
I'm listening.
Well, as I was leaving, I said the normal thing.
Hello, Mr. Long. So?
Mr. Long said something.
I don't understand.
I don't either. That's why I had to come back today to make sure.
You really think you heard him speak to you?
Yes, he actually took off his hat and bowed to me.
Let's get you back to bed.
No!
Catherine, that is a statue. It's a statue of a man dead from 1832. It can't move or talk.
I know it's not logical, and I didn't expect you to believe me. But I saw him, and I heard him, I think.
You must have dreamed it when you fainted. It's these last couple of days. They've been so hard on you. It makes perfect sense that way.
Well, Lydia did say that when she came and helped me up from my spell, I said he spoke.
See? That's it then. It was just a dream. Look, watch. Hello, Mr. Long. What do you say, sir? See? Nothing.
You're right. Of course you're right. Walk me home. Oh, wait, my scarf. I left it.
I'll get it.
We've got to go. Why is that so?
And then he had the nerve to tell me to leave those people alone. Why, you've made that family your personal project, and not for the better, he said. Gossipy, he called me.
And what have you ever done to the Landers?
I know.
It's gotten to where a body can't even open their mouth to breathe without being accused of something.
And where my brother's new affection for the Landers comes from is beyond me.
It's only because he feels sorry for Linnell and Katie.
Do you know they tried to keep him from checking on me last night? Tried to make him stay and eat supper with them when he finished with Katie. Even after he told them he had to check on me. I just couldn't believe it.
You don't mean it, Winifred Phillips.
Said that Katie was his most important patient, what with her tender situation and all.
They did not say those very words.
Well, no, not entirely. But I can read between the lines. You know, there needs to be something done about that family. They're strange, I'm telling you. Strange.
Something needs to be done about that.
The Longstone? Whatever for?
I've always hated that thing. It's like he's always looking at me.
Murda, he's harmless.
Well, regardless, I don't like him. It's like he's staring at you.
Murda, come on, hon. I got to get fabric.
Your family can make something happen to that statue.
Maybe so.
Just a minute. Dr. Phillips, we didn't expect to see you so soon. Oh, hello, Denny.
Thought I'd drop in and check on Katie this morning. I met Denny on the way.
Yeah, I thought we ought to come check on Katie. Got real worried when we heard about it. Hope y'all don't mind my imposing.
Well, you're both welcome anytime. Except Katie ain't here.
Is that right? You know, she really should have rested today.
You don't have to tell me. Joseph's gone to get her.
I don't understand. Did she leave without telling you?
Yes, we think she may have gone to the cemetery.
James's grave?
There, or maybe to that old statue. Won't you have a seat, Denny?
No, thank you. I think I'll just stretch my legs.
You know, if you don't mind, I'd like to stay and see her when she gets here.
Well, I better put on a fresh cup of coffee.
How did Katie fare overnight? Did you keep an eye on her temperature?
It stayed normal.
Good. Linnell, I don't think it'll be a good idea to get her all worked up. If you don't mind, let me ask her a few questions. Try to nail down her reason for sneaking off. But before you have your say.
You're the doctor. Here's your chance.
Sorry, Mama. I thought I'd be back before anyone noticed I was gone.
Oh, it's all right. Dr. Phillips just came by to check in on you. He wants to ask you a few questions.
Where did you go this morning, Katie?
The cemetery?
That's what your mother thought. Was it to visit your father's grave?
No, Mr. Long.
Now, is that the statue you were telling me about?
That's where she fainted.
Is that a special place for you?
If I might, Doctor, that's where James and Katie used to stop and rest when they used to come over and play on Saturday nights.
It's also where Katie and I met when we were 10.
I see. So it's a source of good memories for you.
Yes, sir.
Well, tell me, how do you feel right now, Katie? You don't appear to be your normal self.
I'm fine. I appreciate all this, but all of y'all are worrying for nothing.
How was she when you got to the cemetery?
Okay, I guess.
Has there been a change in her attitude between then and now?
Yes, sir. She got all quiet like, just as we were leaving.
All right. Well, Miss Katie, I think you're fine too. But I must say that I think it's best if you stay away from that cemetery for a while. Just while all this is so fresh. I'm going to count on you to see that through.
I need some fresh air.
Well, that was not a popular prescription.
Is that the best thing for her, Doctor? It seems to bring her such happy memories.
I honestly don't know. Maybe. It can't hurt. In the meantime, it'll give her something to look forward to. Denny, let's me and you get out of these folks' way.
Tell Doc the coffee smells delightful. We must be heading on.
Linnell, take care of Katie.
Of course, Doctor.
Where'd they go?
Appreciate you letting me tag along, Doc. I was beginning to wonder if Doc was even going to let me in the house.
Well, she's just protective of Katie.
And it was the god-awfulest mess you ever heard. But I stood my ground. I says, you call that a sermon?
Well, if it isn't the good doctor and the deacon. How are things down there at rock bottom, Denny?
Ladies, please, must you insult everyone you meet?
Well, if the shoe fits, brother.
Be seeing you, Doc.
What is your problem with Denny?
Well, you'd think a lady would have earned a better welcome than that from her brother.
The operative term being earned.
Well, I love you anyway. And our issues with Dennis Purney are our concern. Besides, what brings you to this side of town?
Katie Landers. I was following up with her.
Oh, yes, we heard about her spell. How is she?
Well, it's hard to say. There's no sign of head trauma, but she's acting strangely.
Oh? How so?
Well, wait a minute. Why am I telling you? It's none of your business.
We're only concerned for her welfare.
Well, I know all about the way you two show your concern, especially you, Winnie.
Well, I never.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but there are rules against sharing patient information. I really must go. Ladies.
That woman has turned my own brother against me. He used to tell me everything.
Nobody has turned Patrick against you. I know that rule he's talking about. It's called doctor's-patient contagiosity.
Pardon me?
Maybe he don't want you to catch whatever Katie's got.
Well, I'm going to catch what that girl's got, all right, and I'm going to throw it right back in their faces.
Ooh, let me watch.
Look, this isn't a good idea. I promised your mama and Dr. Phillips I'd keep away from this place for a while.
Am I not allowed to visit my father's grave?
That's on the other side of the cemetery.
Anyways, I've been doing some thinking, and maybe there's really no need for me to visit over there. I mean, this is where all the memories I have of me and my dad are, and I don't think it's fair for you, Mama, or Dr. Phillips to keep me from them.
I don't know. I guess. I just want what's best for you.
Don't say it. Not yet.
Why? It's true. I want to take care of you.
And I want that too. But just give me some time to sort some things out yet. Then you can tell me, ask me, anything at all.
And how will you answer?
Yes.
Then let's go.
No.
You know how much I hate it here.
Then go home.
I can't leave you here alone again. I'd get every which way to Sunday feeling nail and dot. Besides, it ain't right for a girl to be here by herself.
Widows visit the graves of their husbands all the time.
You're not a widow.
I'm about to be if you don't go.
We're not married yet.
Yet?
Yeah, yet.
Anyways, you'd rather have Mama and Dot angry at you than me.
Look, just won't you come with me?
No, I want to be alone.
You tricked me into bringing you here, didn't you?
Yes, I did. You've got to go now.
What?
You've got to go. It's not right for you to be here.
What is it? You're acting all strange again, all of a sudden.
I'm fine. Just let me be alone.
Fine. It's clear you're going to win.
Trust me, please.
All right. But don't be long. I'll wait in the field across from your house. Don't let the sun get low.
I won't. Daddy? What's wrong with me?
Not a thing.
It's you!
Chesterfield Long at your service. You may call me Chester.
It's always been Mr. Long, if you don't mind.
Suit yourself. Whatever are you doing?
Looking for... I don't know. How can this be happening?
You will find nothing down there, young Catherine.
You know my name? How do you know my name?
After all the years that we have whiled away in each other's company, shouldn't I know your name? Why, I've known you since you were... Well, if I could bend lower, you see.
I suppose so.
Is there something the matter?
I don't know. What do you think?
You have not gone loony, if that's what's bothering you. Although I do understand this is a bit unconventional.
Well, no. I mean, yes, it has been a crazy few days. I'm still not sure how to deal with what's going through my mind right now.
Would you like to talk about it?
What is there to say?
Whatever is on your mind. I'm a wonderful listener.
I've never heard of the Long family before, and I know pretty much all the old families around here. Where are you from?
That was many, many years ago, and quite unimportant. I would like to hear more about you.
I'm going to go home and get a good night's sleep. And then if I can still hear you talking to me in the morning, I'll return and I'll let it all out. Is that okay?
I suppose it will have to do. I will just wait right here.
Mr. Long?
Yes, dear.
Can you sing?
I'm told I have quite a lovely singing voice, but I'm afraid it is nothing compared to yours.
Goodbye, Mr. Long.
Goodbye, Katy did.
Just look at him. He has such a strange expression. Doesn't he have a strange expression?
Not at all. As a matter of fact, I think he's rather charming and handsome.
You're just saying that because I don't like him.
I've always thought so. Still.
What is it?
Well, one of Patrick's doctor friends came by for a visit last night. A psychiatrist. He took the opportunity to ask some very interesting questions about Miss Katy Landers. They didn't know I could hear.
Well, do tell.
Well, you know, it was right here where Katy had her spell. Apparently, this spot was very special to James and Katy.
Oh, yes. Remember, we had a conversation with them here once a few years ago.
Exactly. Well, it seems that Katy has formed a rather unhealthy attraction to this spot. That's why she was here when she fainted. The psychiatrist said it might have been her presence here that caused it.
Well, what does your brother think?
Oh, well, he couldn't agree more. Okay. And he brought it up to the family during his last visit with Katy. Told them they needed to keep her away from this place, but she's been sneaking out.
Well, maybe we should have this eyesore done away with for Katy's own good.
Of course.
Oh, Winnie, you mean coot.
Myrta, you take that back. You know I'm only concerned for Katy's welfare.
Mm-hmm.
Speak of the devil, here she comes. Come on. Why, Miss Katy, how are you feeling, dear? We have been so worried about you.
The whole town has been talking about your spell.
I'll bet.
So, what are you doing here, dear? Your father's plot is across the way.
I like it here.
Oh?
And it's personal. Just walking through, thought I'd rest.
Well, you know, Winnie and ourselves, we were just having a conversation about this statue. It's horrendous, don't you think?
And because it is so ugly, and no one from that family lives around here anymore, why, we've decided to have it replaced. Myrta, I told you it was too windy for this enormous house.
No!
Pardon me?
I mean, no, ma'am. You can't do that. It's a piece of history.
Oh, my dear, I am much more interested in beauty than history. And since this community is intent on spending my money on renovations, well, I think we should start where I want to, with him. Well, I hope you get to feeling better, Miss Katy, and don't stay too long. We wouldn't want you to have another spell.
Did you mean what you said about replacing Mr. Long?
Young lady, Mr. Long died years ago. But yes, she's serious.
Please don't.
And you know, I think I'll bring it up at the next town council meeting, and the sooner the better. Pleasant day, Miss Katy.
Well, what'd you do that for?
Whatever are you talking about?
Why'd you knock off Myrta's hat?
Why, you heard them. It was merely the wind.
Well, perhaps the wind should die down a bit. Oh, my poor choice of words, I'm so sorry.
Think nothing of it. We have more important things to discuss, do we not?
I still don't understand how this can be happening.
Let me see if I can make it more clear to you. Do you see the wind?
Well, when it uses a cane to knock off an old lady's hat, yes.
Oh, no, silly girl. I mean, can you actually see the wind?
Well, only when it moves through the grass and the trees.
Right. You see the effect that it has on those things, but the force that moves them is invisible. Why, you can even feel it for yourself in the form of a breeze.
I'm still not sure I follow you.
You do not have to see the wind, or even know where it began, for it to affect you in a very real way.
But this is different for me.
It's quite the same, actually. If you had never seen or felt the wind before now, you might be utterly mystified by it.
Oh, I'm definitely mystified. I'm still not sure if I'm lying here on the ground dreaming.
Come now, we will never get anywhere this way. Please, allow me to be an ear for your problems while you have me.
I don't know where to begin.
I believe that you said that you would let it all out.
Start there, at the beginning of it all.
I miss my daddy. I miss our walks to the preacher's house to make music, and our stops here to rest. I miss his strong hands and his blue eyes. I even miss his temper. Do you understand?
I do.
You do?
Do not forget, I am the tallest monument here. I have seen my share of sadness and loss. I sense that there is something more than just sadness here, Katydid.
Why do you keep calling me by that name? There was only one person who ever called me that.
I suppose I have just heard it enough over the years.
You're him, aren't you? Somehow you've made your way back through Mr. Long, haven't you, Daddy?
You need to concentrate on why you feel so helpless.
Well, my father just died a few days ago. I'm allowed a period of mourning.
Indeed. And if that's all there is to this, is normal sadness and longing, that will pass in a matter of time, then what business have I here? You need no one to talk to. You need only time.
You're all I have left of him.
Then there is more.
Yes.
Tell me.
Well, I mentioned to you Daddy had a temper. And it was always his first reaction to point a finger at somebody else. And usually very loudly. But that's no excuse for the way I acted towards him. What I said to him.
You were being far too hard on yourself.
Perhaps. But Daddy loved us. He loved the whole town and we loved him. He had a hard time of showing it, but we all knew. Daddy put himself through hell for us.
He was a good man.
A good man indeed. And he spoiled me a little. Okay, a lot. They all did. I'm Mom and Daddy's youngest girl. I'm all they have left to fuss over.
Do you resent being the only child left at home?
Why should I? I get the best of everything. Dot wants me to stay a little girl, while Mama wants me to grow up. I guess that's why I love spending so much time with my daddy. He was somewhere in the middle with me.
But being in the middle, one often feels tugged from both directions.
You seem to know
the need to provide balance or to be the glue to hold the family together.
You seem to know a lot about my daddy.
Do you feel that you provided him strength?
Daddy loved Mama. But yes, I think over time it began to be more about me. Anytime they talked, money would always come up. Daddy would cloud over and become silent. Mama didn't blame him because she knew he tried the hardest he could. But the issue was always there.
So now we understand why you feel so sorry for your father, but we have yet to discover why you feel so sorry for yourself.
I don't feel sorry for myself.
Really? Have you spent any time consoling your mother? I doubt it. Since your father was only buried 2 days ago, you've been here trying to find a way to heal yourself. Have you even given one moment's thought about what your mother must be going through?
That's not fair. I fainted right here in front of you. Surely you saw it. You caused it. I'm not feeling sorry for myself, but yes, I'm feeling sorry for Mama.
Yes, right, indeed. That's why you are here in the graveyard talking to a statue.
You're the one who talked to me.
You've been saying hello to me for years.
Right.
I just finally returned the gesture. Katydid.
Stop calling me that.
All right. Only trying to help. There. Now, stop all that. You're only going to water the weeds and give the poor groundskeeper more work to do.
I miss him so much.
Of course you do. I'm sorry if I was harsh. Only I need you to see deeper than what is on the surface. It's only natural for you to miss your father. But what is it that is at the root of your despair?
I told him that I hated him.
And there it is.
It's the last thing he ever heard me say to him.
And you think that because you provided him strength, that when you told him that, you took it away. You think that you killed him.
Yes.
He knew better than that, and so do you.
But I don't know that he did. You saw the fight. You heard my voice. Even if it was for that one moment and then gone. For that one moment, I meant what I said.
But he knew better.
How could you know? How could you possibly know? Unless...
Because any father would know. You were not the first daughter to show the glimmer of hate towards her father during a spark of anger. I am sure your father himself felt the same type of fury towards his own parents at one point or another. And he knew it then, just as he knew it when you said it, that it was nothing more than mere emotion.
But it's the last thing I ever said to him. How do I live with that?
There is only one way that you can. One day at a time.
That could take a long time.
That is entirely up to you.
I should get back.
As you wish. Will you come back tomorrow?
I don't know.
Katie did. Sorry, Catherine. Your father loved you more than anything in this world. And he knew that you loved him.
I always will.
Rest well, young Catherine.
Oh, brother, thank heavens.
What's the matter?
I sent Myrta on to the butcher's. I just knew there was something odd about that girl this morning, so I told Myrta I'd catch up, and then I snuck back to see. Oh, goodness. Myrta's going to be so upset I didn't catch up with her.
Are you okay, Miss Winnie?
Tell us what's happened.
Well, it's horrible. It's the most horrible thing you've ever seen. We've got to get to the Landers, and I'll tell you all about it on the way. Come on.
We have to ask some questions.
Something I ought to know about?
Come. Sit here, Katie.
Is this about my fainting spell?
We believe it's related, yes.
What is she doing here?
She's my sister.
But this is no business of hers.
She brought this to our attention.
And she's a guest in our house, so you will be polite.
Well, if it's all the same to you, I agree with Katie. There ain't nothing wrong with her. I'll be in the kitchen.
What does she mean, Mama? I'm not sick, am I?
That remains to be seen.
Winifred, perhaps you should go now. Thank you for all your help.
But I'm...
Go.
But it was me.
Now.
Really?
Have I done something wrong?
No, not at all. We just need to talk to you about something bizarre.
Katie, Winnie saw you talking to the Mr. Long statue today.
Oh.
How long has this been going on?
A few days. I've always said hello to Mr. Long, the statue.
That's true, Doc. It's a game that she and her father played nearly all her life.
Well, Katie, this was more than just a hello. She saw you carrying on a whole conversation. Now, that's serious business.
Well, did she hear him talking back?
Well, of course not. But now the question here is, did you? And you haven't answered my first question. How long?
A few days. I've just been sorting through some things. It's nothing. Oh, this is embarrassing.
Don't be embarrassed. My name is Dr. Pendleton, and I specialize in matters of the mind.
You caught a psychiatrist?
I happened to be with Dr. Phillips when his sister came to find us.
Y'all think I'm crazy.
Not at all.
Katie, is this why you keep sneaking out of the house? To go talk to the Mr. Long statue? Answer me.
Okay. When I fainted on the day of Daddy's funeral, as I was leaving, I said, "Hello, Mr. Long," just like I always have. I thought he answered back. And I was frightened. That's why I fainted. It's so good to revisit those memories of me and my daddy. It's all so fresh on Mama and Dot, and I didn't want to shoulder Joseph with it. So all that was left was Mr. Long.
Do you hear the statue talking back to you, Katie?
What if I told you I did? What would you do to me?
Well, frankly, we have some wonderful institutions.
And that's what I thought. No need to worry. I know what's real and what's not.
Well, that's good.
We're not here to make you feel easy or gang up on you. We're only trying to help.
And I understand, Doctor, but all of y'all are worrying for nothing.
Just the same, I must recommend full supervision, just for a few weeks. I take your word for it, Katie.
Catherine?
My apologies, Catherine. But you have to understand that the situation the doctor's sister comes to us with seems to be a little bit more of a clinical condition.
Mama, are you going to agree with this? Do you think I need to be kept under lock and key?
Honey, I just want you to be healthy and safe.
No offense, Dr. Phillips, but I think Winifred is the one that needs to be psychologically evaluated.
Well, now, I can't argue with that.
So are you saying that Winifred's story isn't true?
No, I'm saying she misunderstood what she thought she saw. I'm going to go to my room now before I say something about the doctor's sister that can't be taken back. A wise man once told me that once you say something, it can't be unsaid, only forgiven. And sometimes you can't even have that.
You know, Catherine, you never told us you didn't hear the statue talking back to you.
But I never said that I did.
Oh, still don't know why you brought me all the way out here. I've already told you it's out of the question.
Just look at it, Bailey.
Oh, I know what the Long Monument looks like, Winifred, but what am I supposed to do?
You can bring it up at the next town meeting.
Oh, I don't have that kind of authority. And even if I did bring it up for a vote, well, they just laughed me right out of the room. I'm sorry. I got way more important things to do than this.
I'm asking nicely, Mayor.
What is your problem with this monument? I dare say it's the most beautiful and most unique one in the whole cemetery.
Well, I don't like it. And I'm accustomed to getting what I want, and that is not about to change.
Morning, Mayor. Beautiful day, isn't it? Morning, ladies.
Morning.
I was just laying some fresh flowers on James's grave and saw you folks over here.
Well, we're here on business, if you don't mind.
I don't mind. I don't reckon it matter if it did. This wouldn't have anything to do with Miss Katie, would it?
Well, that is no concern of yours.
I don't reckon it is at that. I have to agree. Especially since you're so accustomed to getting your way. Beautiful day today, Mayor. Did I mention that?
Yes.
Sitting here on this comfy bench in such a public place. I think I'll sit here for a spell and enjoy the sunshine. Yep, on a day like today, you can just about hear anything said, clear as a bell. But y'all don't mind me. Y'all just continue on with what you were doing.
You've been drinking again, hadn't you, Danny?
Murder, why must you always accuse me of nipping?
Because it's a whole lot more than nipping. You're a drunk. Imagine the preacher letting a drunk be a deacon. Oh, Danny! Oh.
If you smell any more than poached eggs on this breath, I'll hand over my best mule, Bessie.
Boy, now, I think it's time we all went our way. There's just no more to discuss.
The only thing is you couldn't tell which one was Murder and which one was Bessie.
That's enough. That's enough, Denny.
Mayor, what about this statue?
Like I said, there's no more to discuss.
will not be taking down the Long Monument, not at least without a vote.
So vote.
I can promise you it won't pass. It won't do any good.
So you're saying you won't even bring it up?
What we're saying is that not even your influence can change the fact that there's a lot more important things to do than this. And nobody but you and
Bessie,
Danny.
Sorry, man.
Only you two have a problem with this monument. So no, I will not be bringing it up.
Nor will I.
You?
You forget I'm on the town council?
Oh, yes, I've tried to forget. Mayor, town council meetings, they're public affairs, are they not?
They are.
Well, I'll just bring it up myself at the next one.
You know, you have that right. But you know what? Nobody likes you, Winifred. This whole town knows about the war you waged on the Landers, and that's all this is about. You've had it in for them, and I know why. Be pretty embarrassing for you if the people knew what I know.
You can threaten me all you want, you pickled-livered sot, but you'd have to be awfully sauced up to risk me telling all of the things that I know about you.
You leave Miss Katie and her family alone, and they got enough to deal with without you meddling. Good day, Mayor.
Oh, don't worry, Mr. Long. She's harmless. Reckon you got a few days left with us yet. What do you say?
Hello, Mayor.
Well, hello, Miss Katie.
You see that? They think I'm crazy. They're afraid of me. I guess we all now know how that happens.
People will talk.
But not to statue.
Yes, I know. So we cannot continue like this. You do realize that.
Joseph hasn't come around for a few days. Do you think I'll frighten him away?
Catherine.
I know.
You need to get to the bottom of this for your own sake today.
What is there to finish?
Finish what you have started.
The only thing I've started is getting the ball rolling towards me being institutionalized.
I'm talking about what you've started on the inside. I'm talking about what you've started with your heart.
What else is there to do?
Forgive yourself.
I don't think I can.
Of course you can. Everything depends on you. How long you intend to go on punishing yourself. How you go on living the rest of your life. It was an unfortunate choice of words. That is all. But you must forgive yourself.
I can't.
Yes, you can.
No, I can't. I can't.
To put a finer point on it, you refuse. Well, I refuse to think of you as a terrible person.
Well, that's exactly what I am.
Well, then all of this has been for nothing, then, hasn't it? I think it is time for you to grow up, young Catherine. We do things. We say things in life that we can never take back. That's just part of life. But a sign of maturity, what you must understand before you can ever hope to move on, is that words are fleeting and they're shallow when they are nothing more than the product of senseless and thoughtless emotions. The words that have meaning and the words that live on forever are the words that come from here. When you spoke those final words to your father, Did they come from your head or your heart?
My head.
And if you had spoken to your father, choosing to speak from your heart, what would you have told him, dear child?
I love you. I love you, Daddy.
He knew. He always knew.
Well, what now?
I believe that your father put it best in the words of a song. You begin to pick up the pieces.
All right. But help me to start picking up the pieces. Mr. Long, help me to start picking up the pieces. Mr. Long? Mr. Long?
Been to the cemetery again. You've been to see Mr. Long.
It's just a statue, Mom.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Joseph came by. He's worried.
Everybody can stop worrying now, Mom.
That's good.
Well, we'll go to the Landers then. Well, we don't have to go to the Landers' house after all.
Go to our house for what?
I'm afraid Katie was seen here again earlier today talking to the statue.
And here you are. Well, it looks like it's spread to the entire family.
We were visiting James's grave and then heading into town.
Catherine, you are seen here again today yelling at this statue.
I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about.
And you still deny it.
I don't deny walking past you earlier today.
But what about the rest of it, Katie? People in this town are nervous. They're afraid of you because of this. I'm sorry, but our only recourse is to suggest that you visit one of Dr. Pendleton's.
Doctors, how many of these people actually have claimed to seen Katie doing this?
Well, I couldn't say, really.
Is it safe to say then that this information is coming from Winnie and Murda?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Doctor, I trust you with my family's medicine, but Winnie ain't where you should be getting your information from. She's a bit addled, if you ask me.
Well, I never.
And you never will, sister.
Let me tell you something.
Ladies,
I know what I said.
please. Ladies, please.
She is crazy, brother. I saw it with my own eyes. She is crazy.
Dr. Phillips, may I say something, please?
Be my guest.
You poor, poor woman. What horrors must you have seen to have turned out the way you have? I am so sorry for whatever made you so sour and angry. But it's just a statue. Just a piece of stone.
That is the most rational thing I've heard all week.
Mama, Daddy's on the other side.
After you.
Well, if that don't beat all.
Did you have your sister come into my office? It's just a talk. It is just a talk.
Hey, did I miss the party?
Who is this man?
One of our deacons.
Oh, wait, what?
Just hold on a minute. I got something to say.
We don't want to hear what you have.
I know what this is all about.
You hush up, Denny.
You hush up. Go ahead, Denny.
You see here, we all went to the same schoolhouse. And Winifred here had one big old crush on one James Landers. But her mama wouldn't let her have nothing to do with it on account that they all watching different creek, if you get my meaning. Too good for her. And if Winifred decided that if she can't have him, nobody ought to. And that's why she's always had it in for the whole Landers bunch.
Oh, well, you've got secrets too, don't you?
Secrets?
Oh, my, yes, secrets. I know that you're the one that's been admiring on Myrta here, leaving sweet little love notes in her door at night. I've seen you doing it, Denny.
Denny, that was you? Weenie, you said you didn't have a clue. That was you? You lech.
Truth's out, I guess.
I can't believe you had the nerve. You saw it? You beautiful, beautiful saw it.
Oh.
Morning, Catherine.
Morning, Henrietta.
It's good to see you back in town. How's your mama and Dot?
They're just fine. It's harder for them to get around these days, but they'll make it.
Yeah. Well, you tell them I was asking about them.
I will. Oh, they said if I ran into you, they'd like to be put back on your egg list.
Oh, well, I'll take them some fresh pick first thing in the morning.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Good day, Catherine.
Good day, Henrietta.
Well, my goodness, Miss Catherine, you're a sight for sore eyes. And that boy of yours is growing up so fast.
He sure is.
Back for a visit or here for good?
Just visiting, I'm afraid. Joseph has some family business to tend to.
Well, tell your mama I said hello.
I will.
Who's that lady, Mama?
I have no idea. When I was a little girl, just about your age, I would come on walks through here with my daddy to see your Uncle Jacob.
The one that tells the jokes?
The one that tells the jokes. We would come and rest on one of these benches. I have a lot of memories here. It's even where I met your daddy.
Who's that?
That's Mr. Long. When I was little, I used to pretend he was real. I would walk by and I'd say, "Hello, Mr. Long."
Hello, Mr. Long.
Mr. Long said nothing.